Alex, I walked into the shop this morning and realized the air smelled exactly like cedar and damp concrete. It's that specific Saturday morning perfume that tells you it's time to stop thinking and start making a mess.
Is that what that is? I thought it was the scent of a man who hasn't cleaned his shop vac since the late 90s.
Efficiency comes in many forms, and sometimes that form is a layer of protective dust over every flat surface I own. But look, it's April 25th, 2026. The world is moving fast, even if my vintage joiner isn't. We have a mountain of gear and industry shifts to talk through today. We're looking at the newest tool drops, a massive pivot in the automotive world, and how to actually put some folding money in your pocket as a maker.
Let's start with the shiny stuff. I saw you unboxing those new Wera tools. You looked like a kid on Christmas who just discovered his parents bought him a robot.
It's the 2026 lineup. Ware dropped 30 new releases, and I'm telling you, they've moved past just making tools into what I'd call physical ergonomics. You pick up one of these new Zyklop ratchets, and it doesn't feel like a cold piece of steel. It feels like your hand just grew an extra, incredibly strong finger.
That is a terrifying image, Tiger. Extra finger. But really, does a fancy handle actually change the game, or is it just tool porn for the guys who want their garage to look like a showroom?
Listen, when you're 60 and your elbow feels like it's been chewed on by a disgruntled woodchuck, you start to care about torque delivery. These craft form grips are designed so the pressure points of your palm match the handle perfectly. It's about not waking up on Sunday morning feeling like you went 10 rounds with a pneumatic hammer. It's joint-saving technology.
Okay, fair point. But what about the power? I saw the DeWalt 2026 catalog on your bench, and those things look like they belong on a lunar rover.
That's the power stack evolution. If you're still dragging around those old school, heavy as a brick lithium ion packs, you're basically working in the Stone Age. The torque to weight ratio on the new 20-volt lineup is, well, it's honestly confusing. I used the new 2026 impact driver to lag a ledger board yesterday, and it felt like I was holding a feather, but it had the kick of a mule.
So, wait. Are you saying I should finally throw away my corded drill? The one that sparks and smells like ozone every time I hit the trigger?
Bury it in the backyard, Alex. Give it a proper funeral. The industry's moving so fast that Tool Guide is basically the only way to keep track of who owns which brand anymore. You've got to stay sharp on the why behind these tools, or you're just buying plastic that'll be obsolete by next season.
Speaking of things moving fast, let's talk about the grease monkeys, or I guess high-tier technicians as they want to be called now.
It's a complete revolution. Scott Waddle and a few other industry leaders have been talking about this career switcher phenomenon. People are literally walking away from spreadsheets and air-conditioned cubicles to pick up a wrench.
Wait, really? People are ditching the desk for the shop floor? That sounds like the plot of a bad movie.
It's because the culture changed. Shops realized they couldn't keep treating mechanics like disposable filters. In 2026, a top-tier tech is getting benefits and a culture that rivals a tech startup. But more importantly, the work isn't just fixing cars anymore. It's systems management.
Especially with the EV boom, right? I imagine that's a whole different animal than changing oil.
It's a golden ticket. If you get certified in high voltage systems right now, you're basically writing your own paycheck for the next decade. From battery manufacturing to specialized drivetrain maintenance, it's the new frontier. It's less wrestling a rusty muffler and more calibrating a land-bound spaceship.
Land-bound spaceship. Tiger, you're getting poetic. But let's bring it back to the workshop. Some of us want to make money without needing a high-voltage certification. I want to talk about sawdust to gold.
The maker mogul side of things. Look, a lot of people think the way to make money in woodworking is to build a massive dining table that takes a month and weighs as much as a small car. But in 2026, the real meat on the bone is in functional aesthetics.
Functional aesthetics. So pretty things that actually do something.
Exactly. Think high-end serving boards, minimalist floating shelves, or modular plant stands. People are hungry for curated home goods. The trick isn't making one perfect thing. The trick is the jig.
Okay, explain that. Because you always say a single cutting board is a hobby, but a jig is a business.
Exactly. If I spend 4 hours making one board, I'm barely making minimum wage after materials. But if I spend 2 hours building a rock-solid jig that lets me batch out 10 identical high-end boards in an afternoon, now I'm a manufacturer. Repeatability is the secret sauce. You want to spend your time on the finishing touches, the sanding, the oiling, the things the customer feels, not on measuring the same 3-inch gap 50 times.
I get it. Work smarter, not harder. But we can't just talk about profit. We have to talk about the projects that make us want to tear our hair out. What's on the to-do list for this weekend?
We've got two ends of the spectrum. First, the Zen update, Japanese-style shop upgrades. It's not about getting a bigger shop, it's about getting a smarter one. Specialized tool walls, low-profile workbenches, everything has a home. It's about removing the friction between your brain and the wood.
And on the other end of the spectrum, the thing that makes the Japanese workshop look like a walk in the park?
Catamarans. Full-scale, scratch-built catamarans.
Tiger, are you serious? Who is building a catamaran in their backyard?
More people than you'd think. With the step-by-step digital guides we have now, high-level marine engineering has become accessible to the regular person. It's a massive project. You're talking months, if not years of your life. But there's something about the structural integrity of a boat you built with your own two hands that, well, it either makes you feel like a god or like a crazy person. Sometimes both.
I think I'll stick to the floating shelves for now. I'm not ready to be a maritime god yet.
Probably wise. My first attempt at a waterproof box ended up being a very expensive, cedar-scented sieve. I learned real quick that water doesn't care about your feelings, it only cares about your joinery.
So, what's the big takeaway for the TigerDen crew this weekend?
It's simple. Don't get stuck in the way it's always been done. Whether it's upgrading to batteries that don't weigh 5 pounds, looking at a career in high-voltage tech, or just building a better jig for your side hustle, progress is the only thing that doesn't rust.
Progress is the only thing that doesn't rust. Look at you, getting it on a t-shirt.
Better than ask me why I have 9 fingers, right? Whatever you're working on today, just remember, your shop is the only place in the world where you're the boss of the physics. Make it count.
Stay gritty, stay creative.
And we'll see you in the shop.